Shawn and Sav here, and we have a very special video for you this week. We saw what happened, the passing of Mickey Wright. We're very, very, very sorry about that. However, it brings to light an individual that had probably the most amazing golf career ever.
Yeah.
She was the Tiger Woods of, her female side. And, her swing was compared to the greatest of greats, and it was admired by the greatest of greats. And you brought up a really important question.
Nobody talks about it.
Why hasn't...
I feel bad for not knowing who she was.
Right.
And I'm in the female golf industry.
Yep.
And no one ever talks about her.
Right.
No, she's legit the legend of women's golf.
Yeah.
And they're now only talking about her.
So you feel like you've been deprived a little bit?
Yeah, there's...
We should have been talking about her a lot more. I mean, look at how much we talk about Mo Norman.
Yeah.
Right?
We don't...
And Ben Hogan.
Women's golf doesn't have that, female idol.
Yeah.
Not as much as the men's side, anyways.
Well, the legendary idol, right? The way, look at how we talk about Ben Hogan and Sam Snead and Jack Nicklaus. Mm-hmm. We should have been talking about Mickey Wright every bit as much. And I know I've spoken about her in my videos in the past. And I think one of the reasons why, and that question's been asked not only by Savannah, but by a lot of our readers, our viewers. Yeah. And the answer is pretty simple. For the last 30 years, we've kind of had this little veil of intimidation. Be careful, watch out, nip and tuck. You can't be bringing that lead knee back. That's way too much margin for error. And we talk too much about resisting with the lower body stability, all that stuff. But now we look at the Golf Channel. And, you'll see in this video right now, you'll see Robert Dameron, and he's talking about, all of these amazing things that, hey, if I was a teacher, there's no way that I could even coach that person because I'd be afraid to mess it up. Mm-hmm. And so if it's, that good, then we need to be talking a heck of a lot more about her swing than what we've been talking about now. Yeah. So one of our viewers sent a top of backswing position. You saw the thumbnail for this video, and you can see that at the top of the backswing, your backswing and her backswing are very, very much similar, if not identical. Yeah. Why is that? Because I've been teaching not to resist with the lower body for the last 25 years. Yeah. And even when you were a serious golfer in high school, you were blowing it by 40 yards. The average girls that were and these were full scholarship girls on your team. Yeah. And you were blowing it 40 yards by them, and they were wondering what the heck was going on. Yeah. And they're the ones that were resisting, and they have these teeny little bodies, and they're trying to resist upper body against lower body. Resist what? Yeah. You need that kinetic chain to fire on all cylinders when you're at that size. Yeah. And the beauty of it is, because you're not as strong and you're not as explosive as the men, then you have to listen to gravity that much more. Yeah. And that's what makes you more accurate and more deadly. So let's see a couple of swings right now. We're just doing a little driver, and we're going to do a full swing comparison. And we're going to put this in slow motion beside Mickey Wright's after as well. So, a little bit on the heel?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So the first thing you're going to see is, if you look at the takeaway, just show me what your normal takeaway would look like there, Sav. So notice how wide that is going into the backswing here. And if we put side by side, you'll see at the top of the swing here, Mickey Wright's takeaway. The only difference is yours has a little bit more lower body rotation. And that's a little bit of a timing thing, right? So go ahead and do that again. Do it nice and smooth. Awesome. So notice how there's no resistance down here. Everything is moving together, but it's fully supported. You're on the inside of the feet. Your pelvis and rib cage are moving together so that your lead arm doesn't crash into the back arm or into the rib cage.
Yeah.
So now let's see you go to the top of the backswing. So now from there, what she's trying to do is she's trying to go in this direction here, which is left edge of that intermediate point, and look at the turn. Look at how much her whole backside is turned to the target and how that lead knee has rotated in behind the ball, but yet she hasn't given up her position on the inside of that foot.
Yeah.
So if you go to the top of the backswing again and stop, now just bring the club head here into my hands. Let's say you and I are going to be doing a tug of war and you want to pull me towards you. Look at that. So you notice how inside that trail foot she is, and you notice how you're getting ready. If I let go, what's going to happen to you? I won't do that in front of them. So you now have full range of motion, and that range of motion, this rotation that you have in the backswing, results in rotational momentum to go toward the target.
Yeah.
Okay? Which begs the question, and we're going to see this in the next video, so you want to make sure you subscribe to this channel, because the next video is going to be about, well, how much do you turn your hips? How much do you actually clear your hips when you want to deliver effectively towards your target? So when you get to the top of the backswing, what's going through your mind?
Just gonna let it fall and whip through to my target.
Yes. And what is it in your mind, what allows you to get to the target? You're letting it fall and whip through towards where?
Over my intermediate point.
Right. So you're using that intermediate point as a mile marker to help you deliver in the direction that you want to start the ball.
Yeah.
So what we typically do with salve is we say, okay, the average LPGA carry is 218, and you'll see that once you get to the top 50, there's a big drop off in as far as distance is concerned. So distance is a big deal out there.
Yeah.
And so if we talked about how, show me your 220 swing. So full backswing, full finish, and you just want to hit it 220. So to you, that felt like a ridiculously easy swing.
Yeah.
So that blew by 220, and you're now sitting almost, you're 255 total.
Yeah.
And the contact was just a little bit off, just a little bit on the inside, right?
Yeah.
So that's when you're on absolute cruise control and not trying to give anything to it. So your normal swing, basically, you just add 10% of that. So let me see you just add 10% in that direction. At that height. Very nice. How'd that feel?
Good.
And we're still waiting on that shaft, right?
Yeah.
Oh, looky here. So that was 285.
Yeah.
And that was just 10% more.
Yeah.
So that was 260 carry, 284 total, and your club head speed is 103.
Yeah.
So the next thing I want you guys to really look at is you'll notice impact position. So I'm going to show you what impact position looks like. Show me your downswing in slow motion and stop at impact for me. Imagine you're delivering that full out swing in that direction. Yeah, very nice. So notice her head is behind and it's tilted in a way that allows her to go get the bottom of that. Now notice, because that head position is behind, she's still opening up. Notice how her pelvis and rib cage is already opening up and she's braced inside here. So because she's staying in the direction that she wants to go, and every top competitor does this, they don't focus on anything else but the target. And even Rory just recently talked about how I got to stop looking at the machines.
Right.
And I got to just stay with my target.
Yeah.
And when I do that, I perform so much better. I guarantee you Mickey Wright was a target-based individual. and never had to think about her golf swing. So you notice at impact, her head's behind the ball like yours. And beyond the ball. And this is where, as I'm talking to you about this, look at this split screen at the top here, and look at how wide that delivery is. So you notice how she's collecting the ball here and releasing the ball in the direction that she wants to start it.
Yeah.
And both of you have this unbelievable width that I'm super jealous of, because I've never, I've always had my own little quirks in my swing, and I didn't have this information when I was your age. It was too late for me. But you're coming along so beautifully, and you can see that when you allow anatomy to function the way it was meant to, and which is, that's what happened in the old days, right? You look at Bobby Jones. Bobby Jones is the very catalyst to this channel, right? Because at the time when I started teaching golf, I had my Canadian Ski Patrol background, and I looked at anatomy, and I looked at what was happening, and I'm not afraid to say it. I mean, I got this DVD. It was a VHS cassette. You've never had that, did you?
Well, very early on.
Very early on. You don't remember those dinosaur, machines?
No.
That V8, where we used to watch Barney on that.
Yeah, the little.
Well, these cassettes were like this wide and that thick. So I put his VHS tape in there, and I was really aghast at what I saw and the way he was teaching, putting a beach ball between the legs, and so that you didn't move your legs. And so if we put could you imagine putting a ball between your legs? Here's a volleyball. Put that between your legs, right? And now when you take your backswing, don't let your legs move. Right?
How the heck are you supposed to swing like that?
Exactly. And that's been taught. It's like, don't let that, if you had some hip pockets, don't let that hip pocket move backwards. Don't let it go back. That's what we taught for 30 years, Sav. So
that's what I have to say to that.
enough of that already, right? So you noticed when you took that backswing, there was no way you could get width.
No.
You get width by removing the obstacle. And that's how we're wired to function, right? So when you see Mickey Wright's backswing and you see this huge range of motion going back, that lead knee going back, but because she's so with her target, she's using all that momentum to move towards the target, she's got to stay on the inside of that trail foot.
Right.
And then because she's staying with the target, the head's staying back, and that's what's anchoring that deep release toward the target.
Yeah.
So when was the last time we really talked about your swing in our sessions?
Never.
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 We don't ever talk about body parts.
No.
We talk about, hey, does that feel like you can go there?
Yeah.
And does that feel like you can go there without falling on your face or without hanging on? That's now we keep polishing that distance to ball.
Yeah.
And we keep polishing the direction of your takeaway. Sometimes you get a little inside.
Yeah.
And it's just a little awareness to, and a little nudge.
Yeah.
Do you think you're still going towards your target?
Yeah.
And then off you go on your merry little evolution into where we're going. So, your goal this year is win all the local events, and you already know how far you hit the ball compared to all the other players. There's nobody in this area that can hit the ball as far as you can, and so from there we'll go to the Canadian PGA and do your playing ability test, which already with your handicap you'll breeze through with flying colors, and then from there we'll get you into pro events next year.
Yeah.
And we'll see how you do there. And I know you're going to do well because you have to have that mindset to go for the win. And everything that you do is organized for you to go win. Whether you win or not, you can't put that pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
But if in your mind you're saying, I need to have this short game and that putting and that kind of ball striking to win, and then you go out and you do your best, and you're looking for that trophy, right? So you're going, okay, hey, how did I do compared to the rest of the field? That means I got to do even better tomorrow because I'm 2 strokes behind.
Right.
Because I'm going to win.
Yeah.
And you have that in your mindset, and then it's like, hey, you know, when we talk about when you're chipping, is the goal to put it close or to put it in the hole?
Put it in the hole.
Have to. So if you do miss the hole, you're close.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. Strive for the win.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing right now. We're happy to say this to you because we are training and we're eating that way and we're working on your swing that way for you. And if you make it, fantastic. If you don't, I mean, oh my God, look at all of this amazing, you know, this journey that we're experiencing right now. We're doing it right now.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be prouder of you.
Thanks.
And I can't wait for this year, man. It's going to be a blast.
Yes.